Is it time?
Yeah, let's get started. Woo-hoo! Welcome to 2024. We're so excited that you're here with us. I am Michelle Spina. I'm the Sales Education Manager at SolarEdge. I'm here with Chris. He's the Head of Products. And John, he's the Chief Marketing Officer for North America. So we have quite the forum here. And, you know, look, 2023 was an interesting year. Right, I think it's great that we got through it. We accomplished a lot. There's a lot to be proud of. 2024 is going to be different, and we're seeing trends already happening. And I want to hear from you, Chris. What are some trends that you're seeing for 2024?
Yeah, it was interesting, just even some of the dialogue we had before the conference started. I think we're in this period where we're going from selling solar to selling solutions. I think people are being innovative in terms of what they are selling into the home. I think it's a little bit of a year of the battery. We're seeing higher attachment rates for batteries. I see a lot of attendees from California. Real big changes in California, maybe perhaps more than ever. Attachment rates, really near 100%, in California right now. And so I think, people are really looking at batteries from two perspectives. In California, we're seeing the economic value of the battery. It used to be we were selling it because of battery backup. And so we're seeing this migration now where it's going to battery from an economic value proposition. And I think to add to that, we're also seeing people really trying to hone in on how to be operationally efficient. So they want their projects to be profitable, so they want to go in, be efficient, do a clean installation, and know that it's going to be reliable after that. So those two things really focus part on the top line, part on the bottom line.
Great. John, what about you?
Yeah, this notion of disruption. Boy, that was 2023, disruption. Mm-hmm. So, you can see these winning installers really getting focused, looking at their business differently, getting very strategic, more important than ever to be very strategic. They're looking at their customer base, they're looking at operations, and this year, I think it's really going to be a year of a focus, new strategies, and taking advantage of this disruption that's out there.
Yeah, and I want to just do a quick show of hands on here. How many of us have been in the industry for over 10 years? Yeah, a lot. And there's a lot in the room, too. We've all been on the solar coaster, right, before. And I think these years of disruption, like you said, are really where the market makers thrive because they can become agile. They can really reform their business to adapt to the environment. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing some people really stand out as market makers. And today, that's kind of the theme. We want to talk about what those winners are doing, what those market makers are currently doing, and some really easy things that you, for your business, can do in 2024 to become a market maker as well. One of those things is winning at the kitchen table. We're seeing that that's essential. What that salesperson is saying is going to be really important. And John, what do you see in terms of winning at the kitchen table?
Yeah, so that's probably the biggest category. Maybe I'm biased because I come from marketing, but the market makers are really getting tight about their game plan at the kitchen table. Historically, 5 years ago, it was totally only about savings. Are you gonna be able to get rid of your electric bill? And that still can be very important. But one of the things we're seeing is that they're taking a look at the technology and they're using the technology. So if there's 3 or 4 quotes on the table, and you as an installer is going to try to pivot and really win and differentiate yourself at the kitchen table, you can use the technology, whether it's getting more energy out of those panels, differentiation, part of an ecosystem, you name it, but you can really use the technology to make a difference. And probably the biggest element of that we're seeing is the power of an ecosystem, a smart ecosystem. And so when installers are sitting down and they're going through the quotation, they're going through the product offering, and they see that on the other side, or maybe someone was in there before, and they had kind of a mismatch or like we call it kind of a Frankenstein quote where they're taking a bunch of products and putting them together. That doesn't have to be like that. You can come in with a seamless ecosystem that's going to work better, that's going to be engineered to maximize power. And so you can really, really use this smart ecosystem as a play to say, it's going to work. The other thing is just pure energy. How much power, how much energy can you get from those panels? And the fact it's almost like DC coupled has come of age. DC coupled now more than ever. And so that's kind of the key to being able to generate up to 10% more energy. And that's something that when we've been with installers who are presenting that value prop of up to 10% more energy. That plays really well. Smart energy ecosystem, up to 10% more power. What a great place, what a great discussion to have at that kitchen table.
Yeah, and 10% more power, we kind of nerd out on DC coupled. And, I try to make it easy to say keeping it DC and make it fun. But on the technical side, Chris, what's actually happening there, and how can we make it easily digestible for homeowners to understand the technology on that side?
Sure. So, I think now more than ever, homeowners are really looking at what is the efficiency of my system. This is something that's a big investment. They want to make sure that it pays off. And particularly anytime we're looking at these systems, a DC coupled system is just going to always be more efficient because of the architecture. We have what we call the triple conversion loss. So obviously PV is natively DC. We take that DC energy, we put it directly into the battery. That's very efficient. In AC coupled systems, you take that DC, you convert it into AC. You take the AC, you put it back into DC to get it into the inverter, and then you take that DC, convert it again. And it's interesting, you see, these on AC coupled systems, you just kind of see inverters all over the place, and sometimes homeowners are like surprised to see inverters on the roof and little inverters, down at the battery. It's just kind of these little inverters all over the place. And every time you see one of those, you're just going to have losses that are part of it. And that's just really the nature of the architecture. Something new that we're kind of seeing now as well is it's really interesting to see the way module vendors are really innovating in their technologies. Modules keep getting efficient. We're also seeing modules getting a little bit bigger, and we're seeing modules going, it used to be kind of below 400. Now we're consistently seeing 400 and above 400 watt modules. And it's nice for installers. The economics tend to be a little bit better. You can put fewer, a little bit less glass on the roof. The problem though is you need to make sure that your inverter solution is keeping up with your module solution. And so with AC coupled systems, you tend to see microinverters that are less than 400 watts, and now the modules are going more than 400 watts. And it's a little bit, irritating sometimes for a homeowner to say, hey, I'm getting this new, relatively expensive state-of-the-art system, and then they look at it and they see that they're getting a lot of micro clipping because at every module they're seeing clipping because it's just this mismatch of, where modules are going. And so this is something that we always try to make sure we're keeping on top of as an inverter vendor, that we have the right solutions that match with all these different module sizes. The other interesting thing is last year was a pretty hot year. And we go around and we look across the country, and we are seeing with AC coupled systems, often the equipment is not rated for these hot temperatures. So if you're in Southern California, Arizona, Florida, Texas, we've got a lot of markets that are pretty hot. And then we're seeing incremental clipping just because of the temperature. That's a little bit of a new phenomenon there as well. And so at the end of the day, if you go with a DC coupled systems, you have state-of-the-art inverter that really is keeping up with where modules are going, you're going to get the most efficient system and the most economically operational system.
Yeah, and those messages of DC coupled, micro clipping, being able to take advantage of these high wattage panels, again, back to the kitchen table. Those are discussions that are really resonating with people who are making a pretty sizable investment, and they want to maximize how can they get more energy off the roof. They've got an EV, they need to maximize electrification and up to 10% more power. That's important to homeowners.
Mm-hmm. For your homeowners, it just means less wasted energy, higher value for their system, and that's what we want to do here at SolarEdge. So another thing that we're seeing a lot is with these market makers, they're really optimizing customer lifetime value. And what does that mean? That means being able to go back to homeowners, sell them additional products. It means selling the homeowners an ecosystem, like you mentioned. So as soon as you go in, you're selling them a robust solution and not just solar. And it also is allowing them to have higher close rates, leverage referrals, and they're really honing in on that. We're seeing a couple areas where there are installers that are still a little bit squeamish on getting into batteries full force. Happy to see that a lot of this group is really getting to 25, 50% battery attach rate. But it's interesting to note that time of use rates really started in California. We all know that. But did you know that 38 states right now are looking into time of use if they have not already gone there? Additionally, decisions in decreasing value of solar export, of course, started in Hawaii with zero export. Now we're in NEM3 with California. And there's all of these other states that are talking about this now too. The good news is this is an ideal situation, an ideal environment for solar plus batteries. Your homeowners are going to be able to have the best possible value with their electricity and with their energy by becoming their own power plant. And so we're seeing, that's the trend is moving towards a battery solution that you can actually use in this new normal instead of trying to avoid it in a lot of cases. And Chris, we have other things. So one of which is the load controller. So tell us about the load controller a little bit and what we can do with that product.
Sure. Well, happen to have a little one of them on the desk right here, and love to talk about it for a little bit. So, it's exciting to see with all the attendees, the attachment rate that we have with storage going on. And the load controller is really a great accessory product to go with it because it really augments and adds value to a battery. So there's a couple potential applications. If you're looking for someone who's looking at a battery for backup, you go on battery backup. If you have big loads in your home, that battery can drain really quickly. So this is really nice in that it provides load control to discrete loads in the home. And a couple of things that are really great about this is actually part of the SolarEdge home network. And so there's no wiring for the communications for this device. And this is unique in the market. And so now you can control loads. You can put this load controller anywhere, whether it's at your load center or actually near the load. And sometimes those could be obviously in different locations. And so it's very easy to install. If you're on battery backup, it really adds value and extends the runtime of the battery. We're seeing some cases where people are looking at, do I go with 2 batteries or do I actually go with 1 battery? And so sometimes for the homeowner, maybe 1 battery is the ideal solution. And a load controller basically creates a smart energy management system. And so now they can have the maximum value from their batteries. Now, it's interesting when you mention the various NEM markets and time of use markets that are emerging. And of course, California kind of pioneered that this year. And so if you actually have loads and you're not even in a backup load situation, you can look at adding something like this to a load and control when that load is run. And that is something you can use to leverage those time of use rates and just derive economic value by load shifting and putting those loads to the lowest cost times to operate it. So it's really nice that it's either can be worked with a battery or without a battery, but very complementary and really makes a solar system or a storage system a smart energy management system.
It's so funny, like clockwork, we got a question here about being able to upgrade existing systems that have inverters that are single phase HD waves. And that's one thing that we want to talk about today is the Reenergize program, which is essentially exactly what you're looking for. So John, tell us about that Reenergize program.
Yeah, great segue. The market movers, one of the things we talked about is you guys work so hard to work with your installed customer base. It's this amazing asset. And so over the years, many of you have come to us and said, look at, we want to be able to go back and whether upgrade an inverter or add different products or take advantage of this ecosystem. So today, we're thrilled to announce the launch of our Re-Energize program. It is the official upgrade program of SolarEdge Home. Yes, so there we go. Quite simply, for every installation where in the monitoring portal a system was installed before June 30th, 2022, you're going to be able to go into those homes and you're going to be able to talk to that homeowner and be able to upgrade their inverter, okay? And so let's first talk about what does this mean to the homeowners? What are the benefits? What are you going to be able to tell them? Well, first of all, when they do this, they're going to get a brand new, fresh 12-year warranty, which is, obviously an amazing promise. Secondly, they're going to get a new 5-year cell card, so communication's really going to be handled for 5 full years. And last but not least, whether they had a home hub or an HD wave, we're going to upgrade and give you guys the flagship home hub inverter, okay? And of course, that's the key to being able to offer the whole SolarEdge ecosystem, the smart energy ecosystem. So whether you're talking about adding a battery, whether you want an EV charger, as Chris mentioned, whether you want the controller and all the devices to come, it's all built in and it's all integrated into that flagship inverter. So it's really nice. And the other thing that we hear installers saying all the time is, look, I've got a homeowner coming to me and maybe they want to put a new array on some rooftop. Maybe they have an EV, they're just trying to boost the energy that's coming off their solar, okay? And you're gonna be able to go in, offer that system and be able to offer the upgrade as part of that, and you'll be able to oversize that system up to 200%. So that's a lot of power, that's a lot of energy, so we think it's gonna be a great offering for the homeowner. In terms of, for our installer teams, you're going to be able to, of course, get margin opportunity. We've priced this very, very aggressively, okay? Because we know we need to make it worth your while, so the margins have to be right. There'll be margins on the upgrade itself, but also you're going to have the margins that will be coming off of whatever the smart devices, the batteries, the EV chargers, etc. So hopefully there'll be margin to be made on the inverter upgrade, but also with regard to all the accessories and all the products. And if you go with an additional array, that of course will be in there too. So super excited about that. Call your SolarEdge rep, say, Re-Energize, I want Re-Energize, or go to your distribution and ask them about the program, and they'll get you set up. But really excited about being able to offer you opportunities to go into your installed customer base and be able to offer this.
Yeah, really leveraging customer lifetime value. So excited about this program launching. And the third thing we want to talk about, and Chris brought this up in his trends, is becoming an operational expert, really optimizing the installation. I think this is where SolarEdge can really help because we have a lot of features and benefits and software and hardware that help with this. And so, Chris, tell us about some of the things coming up or that have just launched.
Sure. So we have a real lot of exciting stuff to talk about this year and exciting new products. It really stems from following our customers in the field over the last couple of years and really seeing this need to make an installation, have it look attractive to the homeowner, but making sure that it's also something that they can profit from. And there's been a little bit of a hesitancy sometimes to go into storage because they feel it's a little bit more complicated and there's a little bit more risk of going into energy storage. So there's some exciting new products that we have coming out this year. The first thing is what we call embedded PCS. And some people in the market may be familiar with PCS. PCS is Power Control System. And what's nice about some code changes is PCS allows you to put a larger PV array into a home without upgrading that main panel. And we know that upgrading that main panel, not only does it take a long time, often you need some involvement from the utility to do that, but it's very expensive. It doesn't really add a lot of value to the homeowner. And so with PCS, it allows you to monitor that load center and make sure that the PV system is fitting in there nicely. And so we've announced PCS, but we've also announced basically an improvement to how PCS is normally done. And so what we have is what we call embedded PCS. And if you look at the image that we just brought up here, so embedded PCS is based on having a meter. And we embed a meter into our inverter, which makes it very easy to install this. Typically, you're seeing a separate meter is installed and it goes in a box and the CTs, and it just makes it a little bit harder to install this. We have this meter built right into our inverter. They just clip on the CTs. So we make PCS very simple, very easy. It allows for larger solar installations to be done. And we think this makes solar more accessible to more people in general. The second thing that we're launching is what we call SolarEdge Home Fast Mount. And this is kind of an interesting new product. It basically is a mechanical connectivity system that allows someone to install a backup interface, an inverter, and a battery in a very clean installation. It's all line up and match, and it builds in a lot of the typical mechanical connectors that would have to be done on site. We are now seeing storage installations being done in 1 hour or less. And this is a really interesting breakthrough. We hear many cases when we go into the field and follow customers that it's taking 4, 8 or more hours to do this. So it just really makes the mechanical installation very nice. And of course, with the SolarEdge Home Network, all of these devices are communicating wirelessly to each other. Because the other thing that we heard is people are going in and saying, oh, I need to do a software update. And the software update can take a while. And you know, older systems used to have RS-45 and CAN bus and these old wired protocols that just really aren't made for doing software updates. So the devices are connect wirelessly. It does a rapid installation. And so we're looking at, you know, how to mechanically and physically install it, and also from a software perspective. It's clean, neat, and very reliable. And it really goes back to having that home ecosystem with everything speaking on the same wireless protocol. It makes it easier to do this. And then, of course, finally, we did some really amazing upgrades to the product last year. From a reliability perspective, we changed hardware and we changed software, and we've seen really good improvements in the failure rate. And so now customers can go in, do a rapid installation. It's going to be a clean line-up and match look, and they know it's going to be reliable and last for a long time.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so now we've got it with FastMount, we've got a way to not only accelerate the installation process, but enhance that nice clean look, which the homeowner loves. So that's a kind of 2-in-1 benefit. So looking forward to that.
Yes, and a way that SolarEdge is operationally maximizing ourselves and becoming operational killers is our Austin facility. So John, tell us about that.
Yeah, just in case you didn't catch it a couple weeks ago, good news to report. We have opened up our facility in Austin, Texas. So you know, the more I think back on what life was like during COVID, you know, the worse that whole period was. And certainly one of the areas that was tough was the effect that it had on supply chain. And we know that, you know, today we've been talking a lot about becoming operational ninjas. Well, one of that is just making sure that every one of you out there has the product that you need when you need it. So, you know, obviously a decision like this took years. So what we're so happy about here is that this is not only made in America, which is fantastic. We're having hundreds of jobs there now, hoping to be thousands. So we love bringing those jobs back into our own country. But also, we love the effect that this is going to have on supply chain, being able to accelerate how long it takes product to move through the channel, whether it be distribution or direct, it doesn't really matter. But what we love is this is about trucks. It's really going to accelerate that. And we love the product that we're seeing from this facility in terms of quality and reliability. So we couldn't be happier to have Texas with us and be making product here in the United States.
Yeah, very exciting. So very exciting stuff. We have some questions coming through, and I want to make sure that we take some time for that. So the first one, I knew we were going to get it. Bidirectional EV charger, when, where, how, what? Chris, tell us about it.
Yeah, so bidirectional EV charging, boy, we've gotten a lot of interest in this lately since we announced it a couple months ago. And it was interesting to see, because shortly after we announced that, we actually had more automotive OEMs reaching out to us. It really is a unique product in the market. We are seeing the world becoming a little bit more DC coupled. Obviously an EV battery is DC, and when you can go directly from PV to EV, it's just incredibly efficient, incredibly compact, and really integrates nicely with the ecosystem. So it's something that'll be coming out, later in the year. We're not exactly announcing the exact launch date at this point, but we are seeing some exciting discussion with automotive OEMs on that. It integrates great with the ecosystem, and so we're really looking forward to getting that out later in the year.
Yeah. And what's perfect about that is, DC coupled, talk about becoming the global standard. You see it in all the leading global countries around the world, Germany, Spain, et cetera. DC coupled is the global standard.
Yeah,
so,
the
skills of that and the topology of that, connecting with our bidirectional DC charger, that is the ultimate example of that technology in action. So, it's nice to have that DC coupled message.
Absolutely.
And we do have quite a few account-specific questions as it pertains to Re-Energize, so we will reach out to you on those immediately after this call. But there's one that's very blanket, and I think we need answered right away, is the Re-Energize timing. What's the timing of that program? How can customers get it?
Yeah, great question. Program's running now. Again, reach out to your SolarEdge salesperson or talk to your distributor about it. We've been having lots of conversations with all those folks, giving them the specifics of the program, getting them the details. So the time's now. Let's do it now.
Great. So distributor rep or SolarEdge rep, but either way, we're going to reach out to you if you have questions on that right after this that are account specific. So the other one I'm seeing is the California solution. What's our California solution for NEM 3? And the good news is we have had a California solution since NEM 3, well, even before NEM 3 officially launched. So let's talk about the three different options. You have full home backup, as usual. You have partial home backup. And then you have something called Rate Saver. So Rate Saver is a self-consumption only battery. It's kind of serving as a large bucket to store your energy so that you can use it in nighttime hours. And the next question we always get is, well, what do my homeowners have to do in order to really leverage that battery efficiently and effectively? And the good news is really nothing. They don't have to do anything because on our back end, we have something called the battery management algorithm, another nerdy term. I look at you, nerd. And that's actually allowing us to discharge the battery at advantageous times for your homeowners. So it's really doing it automatically so that homeowner is getting maximum value. Good news here too is because we're seeing a lot of markets really trending towards different export schedules, we're implementing this Rate Saver in other markets as well. So we're already getting it into Arizona, Colorado, and other markets that are looking to bring this to your homeowners for high value on self-consumption only. Maybe they don't have a lot of blackouts, but they need that support for self-consumption. So I have one more question here that I think we can have time for answering, and that is the generator support. So do we have any information on generator support?
Sure. Yeah. So actually, we are in the process of releasing a software update, and so this is something that's going to be really interesting, because what's great about our new generator support is it actually works with some of the lower cost pull cord generators. You know, there's a section of the market that has very high end, kind of expensive generators, but that's actually about, you know, I think like 4 or 5% of the market. The average is a pull cord generator. So we actually have a new software release that's coming out. So yeah, reach out to us or reach out to your SolarEdge rep, and we can talk to you about that software update, because it may be backwards compatible with the system that you have installed, depending on how old it is. But it's really nice because it can automatically start that generator for you, and isn't just really tailored for that segment of the market with the high-end generators, because the majority of us just have an old-fashioned pull cord generator. So we're excited to announce that. And yeah, some regions, that's a really important feature. So
we're also compatible with the really expensive generators
if they need to use those as well. Yeah, those are easier. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Okay. So final thoughts, final words on becoming a market maker. John, what are your final comments today?
Yeah, this is going to be the year 2024 where I know we're going to see a lot of shifts in market share. So we're excited to work with you to make you one of those market makers. On the marketing side, reach out to us. We've got great sales tools. We want to help you win at the kitchen table. Whether you're working this notion of up to 10% more energy, helping homeowners get more power from their panels, we're there. You know, avoiding micro clipping, avoiding the triple conversion penalty. We've got some, you know, really powerful value props that can help you at that kitchen table win, and some great tools to bring it home. So however we can help you be more effective this year from a marketing and sales standpoint and win at the kitchen table, we're here for you.
Yeah, and we're going to send an email at the end of this as well with kind of a packet of stuff, so that you can really jump in. Chris, what about you?
Yeah, I think from a solution perspective, really what we want to do this year is migrate from selling solar to selling solutions, and this will really optimize the lifetime value for the homeowner. And the interesting thing is, as we see the different programs, of course, in North America, it's actually very regionally specific. What might be right in California, what might be right in Massachusetts, it's actually very different. So installers look at their own particular region and think about the system that they have that would add most value in that particular location.
Great, and we want you to become an operational expert. That's really the last prong of this this three-part series that we're looking at. And one thing that you can do right away to become an operational expert is twofold. One, there's a QR code right here. That'll take you to the training calendar, where you can find all sales and technical training coming up that's live. And additionally, we do have Edge Academy, where you can get self-paced certifications as well. So you can do it in your own time, but make sure that you're ready for those installations. And lastly, who's going to Enter Solar? I want to see a show of hands. Anybody going to Enter Solar next week? A chance to go to San Diego? Some of you, I hope. Alaska, Ohio, you know, all those places, maybe we'll have an opportunity to be in 70-degree weather. But we do have, somebody's even in the solar games. That's good to see. Yeah. So we do have a booth there. We have some new swag. We have these new socks. I think John's wearing his new socks as well this morning.
We've got them.
Yeah, we would love to see you there at Enter Solar next week. So please stop by. In the meantime, if you do have questions that are on here, thank you so much for bringing them up. We're going to reach out to you right after this. We just wanted to make this a short blurb to get everybody excited. So again, happy 2024. Thank you for partnering with us and being here. So thanks so much.